Welcome back to Oak Haven. Today we were going to do a review. We're going to do a review on a backpack sprayer. I've had a backpack sprayer for a while and it hasn't been great, so I just upgraded and I wanted to share with you about the DB Smith Field King Professional Backpack Sprayer that we just got on Amazon. I haven't used it yet, but I've been very impressed with it as it is right now. And before we finish this video, I'll go ahead and use it in the field a little bit to give you an idea what it's like for practical use. But let me just mention briefly what we were using beforehand, which was this Greenwood 4-gallon backpack sprayer from Rural King. So we're talking about a $30 backpack sprayer here, and this is a $75 backpack sprayer here. So it's an upgrade. I tend to be as cheap as possible, so I tried the cheaper one. The downside to this, and I've heard on other reviews and read on comments on our videos, people are like, well, isn't there a backpack sprayer that's made that doesn't leak? And this one definitely has a problem with leaking. It has a problem with leaking in two different places. One is that the seal can leak up here where the pump is. This is an external pump. So when it pumps, it's going up and down here. My back is right up against the plastic. If this does leak, it comes down, and Julie lets me know because I end up with a blue shoulder and my shirt gets dyed, and that means that there's herbicide on me, which I don't really want. I should mention that the reason we use, or the application that we use these for, is not for lawn care. You know, we're not doing acres and acres of treating broadleaf weeds in a lawn. We're using it more for in the woodlands for invasive species. So we're walking in and out of trees and shrubs and not spraying large swaths of areas, but pinpointing areas. Although right now we're doing Japanese stiltgrass in our woods, which unfortunately means large swaths of Japanese stiltgrass in the woods. So that's why we wanted a bigger volume. Anyway, so let me talk about this one here, this new backpack sprayer, which I'm really excited to use because it solves some of the problems that the other one has. So as I mentioned, that this one has an external pump. They say that on the packaging that this has an internal pump, prevents leaking on you. It's somewhat true. The pump, when you pump it, it is inside, although there is a mechanical connection between the hand pump and the inside that has a seal that could theoretically leak. But if it leaks behind this plastic plate here, so it's not getting on your back. And then the seals on this, it's meant to be maintained. So for $15 on Amazon, you can buy a new set of seals, and you can replace all of the seals that might be leaking. That's really nice that you can actually maintain it. And when you invest $75, or most backpack sprayers are, you know, $125 or more, you can put a minimal investment in maintenance and keep them going. So what I really like about this backpack is that it not only has the shoulder straps, but it also has a waistband and a sternum strap. So let me just show you the practical side of that. Anyone who's done backpacking knows that it's really tiring to have a whole lot of weight on your shoulders. So water, which weighs 8.5 pounds per gallon, if you've got 4 gallons here, you've got 35-ish pounds of weight on there, and it definitely wears on you. This has pretty nice padded straps, but more importantly, it's got a waist belt, or a hip belt. So you can tighten it up, and I can loosen up the shoulder straps a little bit, and all of the weight is on my hips. I can carry a lot more weight on my hips than on my shoulders. So this is much more comfortable than my other options. On the other backpack sprayer, it just has the shoulder straps. And to be honest, I never fill it up to 4 gallons because it's just too much weight to be carrying around, and you're moving around in the woods. So I'll do it to 3 gallons. This, I'm looking forward to being able to fill it up all the way and have the weight in here. It does have the sternum strap, which keeps it well positioned. The shoulder straps are not moving off towards the edge. really nice and comfortable. The pump, okay, the way a backpack pump works, you've got two options. You've got one that you manually pump, or they have them that have a battery operated pump, either by battery or by rechargeable battery. This one is manually pumped. I don't have to pump very often, again, because I'm not doing large spans of lawn. If you're doing large spans of lawn, then it may be worthwhile having something that has a battery pump on it. This, though, I'm spraying and then walking and spraying and walking. I don't mind doing the manual pump. The manual pump on the Greenwood has a pump the pump handle that sticks out. This one has the advantage that when you're not using it, the pump handle slides up vertical, and this stores easier. This one, that's as far up as the pump handle goes, so when you're storing it, it always has the pump handle sticking out, which is kind of a pain. There is an upgraded one. Again, this one was $75. For $105 or so on Amazon, you could get the same basic pump and upgraded, and one of the things that it has is that the pump handle is articulated in some way that it allows it to go straight up, which will make it easier to store. That also has the advantage. This one comes with a plastic tube. That one comes with a stainless steel tube. I believe it's a little longer tube. So if that's an important issue. What was the other thing that it had? Oh, and also on the backpack, on the straps, where this has just the straps and my back is against the plastic plate that we looked at earlier, the upgraded one actually has a mesh vest, I'll say, that all of the straps are attached to, so that there's a little bit of an air gap between the backpack sprayer and my back. If I had it to do over again, I probably would have gotten the upgraded one. I didn't see it when I bought this one, so we'll go with that. But I would definitely consider the upgraded one if you were looking at options. So it comes with several different spray nozzles. This is a brass adjustable spray nozzle, so it can be high powered, or it can be, you can tighten it up and it'll be a wider spray. I like that idea. I like the fact that it's brass so that it's not going to wear as much. It also comes with various other spray tips, wide fan tips, high volume, low volume. We can talk more about that later. I do want to talk about this. This is a pressure regulator. So I'm going to put it up here. This backpack, I think the highest PSI was maybe 25 PSI. This backpack sprayer, theoretically, it's hard for me to imagine, will go up to 150 PSI. 150 PSI is much more than you need for spraying herbicides. It's really nice if you're putting in a fine tip and you're spraying, we'll say, like insecticides or a fungicide up into a tree. It sprays pretty good. Caveat, don't spray herbicides and fungicides and other pesticides over your head unless you have your full PPE, so you're not getting it drifted over on your head. But when you're spraying normally, 150 PSI is a lot. One of the problems with any pump sprayer, whether it's a can sprayer or one of these backpack sprayers, is that you calibrate it. You get the appropriate dosage by how much pressure is in there. So if you're spraying and you've got 150 PSI behind it, it's going to be spraying out a lot more volume, and you need to take that in consideration as you're spraying. What this does is this regulates the pressure down to 25 PSI. So anytime it's over 25 PSI, it's regulated down to 25. So you'll have a constant pressure. So when you've calibrated it for a certain number of gallons per acre, you can keep that constant, and this will keep it at 25 PSI, which is a positive thing. It also, one of the things that they talk about in the book is that by having less high pressure, you reduce the particle size, the droplet size, so there's less drift. That's a good thing. I don't think that's as much of an issue as keeping it consistent for your application. Another thing I like about this design over the Greenwood one here. Basically, any backpack sprayer that or any sprayer that I've used before, and I don't have a lot of experience in other sprayers. But the filter for most of these sprayers is at the end of the tube that that reaches down into the pack. So if the filter gets clogged, you have to take it apart to get to that. And this is much easier. And I've depressurized this, and it just has water in it. So I don't do this if there's herbicide in it that's going to spill all over you. But the filter is right here in the handle, which is easy to get to. So you could clean that out, stick the filter back in again, and close it back up again. And you can fill up again, pressurize, and you're on your way. So that's a handy thing. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about these spray tips and give you an idea of what the different spray tips are used for. Not necessarily a review, but it's kind of nice to know. When I look at it, I think it's not exactly obvious to me how I would use each different spray tip. So here's the collection of tips that come with this backpack sprayer. There's the regulator, the 25 psi regulator. Most of what we're doing is going to be low pressure, so keeping this 25 psi regulator on is a good idea. Then we've got the brass tip, which is adjustable. You can screw it out and have a finer stream, screw it back in again, and it gives a broader stream. I really like that when I'm doing like when I'm doing the stiltgrass. If I'm trying to do a broad area, I can pull it back and it will spray over a bigger area. If I'm trying to miss other plants or trying to do just not waste it, I can crank it out and it'll be a more concentrated jet. Then we've got this series of fan tips. The brown one is not listed in the instructions. It's a kind of a high volume broad fan tip. We'll try to show you that. The red is a little bit lower volume, but also a broad fan tip. And the yellow is a lower volume still and a narrower fan tip. The angle of spray is narrower. And then much narrower than that is this kind of a spot sprayer. And then we have what they call a foam tip, which I don't know anything about. I don't have a practical experience. Someone leave me a comment to explain how you use a foam tip or what a foam tip does. And then there's the nut and the washer to hold it all on the end of the wand. These are all standardized tips, so you could buy these from a third party. You can buy T-Jet tips for it. You can replace these when they wear out or if it gets dirty or something like that. But again, it keeps your backpack sprayer working, and you can just replace the tip. One of the other things that this backpack sprayer has is that every time you pump the pump, there's a paddle in there which keeps whatever you have in here circulated and mixed up. Most of what we do is just an aqueous-based, water-soluble herbicide, so it doesn't separate out very much. But if you had like a wettable powder or something that needs to be constantly agitated, every time you pick this up, it agitates it. Now, I will say that for me, when I'm working in the woods, I'm like ducking around things and moving around. It gets a fair amount of agitation even without that. But I like the fact that I know that it's all well agitated because it's agitating every time I pump it. This one does not have that feature in it. Today I will load this up with some herbicide in it. We are spraying right now. This is, June 18th or so. We are in Japanese stiltgrass season, so that's what we're dealing with right now. So I'm in the woods a lot. There's another issue. When you're in the woods, this has a lower profile. I was noticing when I was spraying with this one yesterday that I was getting caught on things, again, because I'm ducking around woods and under spice bushes, and this seems like it's more fits my back and will allow me to get in easier. Anyway, getting back to the Japanese stiltgrass. So I will be out. I'll load this up with a Claim Extra, which is what we use for Japanese stiltgrass because it's a grass-specific herbicide, grass-specific mostly for annual grasses and other weak grasses like Japanese stiltgrass. So I can spray large areas of the woodland floor and know that the broadleafs and the perennial grasses are not going to be impacted by it, because otherwise the Japanese stiltgrass would be unimaginably hard to control. Right now we feel like we've got it under control. Getting off into Japanese stiltgrass. If you want to know about Japanese stiltgrass, we've got lots of videos. I'll put in some links to videos about Japanese stiltgrass because it's something everybody should know about and you should be looking for. And if you have it, you should be treating it when it's a small infestation rather than allowing it to become a large infestation. Sorry, onto my soapbox a little bit. Anyway, just wanted to share about the backpack. I'm looking forward to getting out there and trying it. What I really like is the fact that it's got this brass mechanism here for spraying, where when you turn it off, it turns off. You know, so many times I'm walking around the woods and it's drip, 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 drip. And actually, when you look at this one, to bring it over here, I had to put it into a plastic bag because I knew that it was going to be dripping herbicide while it was sitting here. This is nice. So if you do choose to buy it, I'll put a link to an affiliate link to Amazon for this backpack sprayer or the upgraded sprayer. We do get a little bit of a kickback if you buy something through the affiliate link. I'm not pushing you to do that, but if you do, that's great and we appreciate it. So I hate reviews where they say, oh, I just took it out of the box and it looks great and it looks wonderful and here's my review of it. It doesn't do me a lot of good unless I know how it works out in the field. So I've spent a couple days out in the field using this backpack sprayer and I wanted to report what I learned through the course of it. Most important thing I would say is that I've really appreciated having the belt, the hip belt on here. And maybe other better quality backpack sprayers, maybe that's a standard thing, but that's a given as far as I'm concerned. If you're looking for a backpack sprayer, is something that will distribute the weight better. I went from 3 gallons up to 4 gallons, so I've been carrying 4 gallons very comfortably, again because I've got it shifted to my waist and not on my shoulders, so that's been a really positive thing. As far as how it functions, it's been shutting off very well. I've found that for what I'm doing, this adjustable sprayer has been the best because I will be going along. I'm doing stiltgrass right now, as I said. So I will turn it to a fine mist spray if I'm doing things at my feet here. If I'm doing underneath vegetation, which I'm often doing where there's a layer above and I'm doing something below, I can do it misty underneath. So I'm not misting the top leaves, I'm just misting what's underneath where the stiltgrass is, not misting the other plants that are up on top. That's just saving me herbicide. Fortunately, I'm using a grass-specific herbicide, so it's not going to kill off those up top things, but there's no sense in me spreading out more than I need. But then, so I can put it on mist, but I can also make it a finer spray and spray things if I'm doing further distance. Then I don't have to be walking into things. Sometimes everything is not accessible. You know, I've got a lot of dead honeysuckle down, other trees down. I can't get to things as well. I can adjust this to a more concentrated spray and spray further. Note on that, I've also taken off of the regulator, the 25 psi regulator, which made sense that you wouldn't need it for herbicide. But yesterday I was doing several slopes where it was kind of inaccessible to get up the slope, so I could pump this up to a higher psi, put it on a finer stream, which shot farther, and pretty comfortably shoot 25 feet up a slope with this, all in the same setup. So I don't need to come back and change something. I just needed to make some adjustments and spray it. And then when I'm doing it on a mist or other things, the fact that it's the pressure is changing over the course of time doesn't really matter for me right now because I'm not really calibrated by acre. I'm calibrated by just getting the leaves wet, and so I can tell that whether I have that regulator in there or not. What are some of the other things? I've liked the idea that on the back, it kind of comes down to a narrow area where the hose comes out on the bottom of the pack, which means that it funnels the pesticide down into that area. So it goes pretty dry. There's maybe a cup left when I'm done, but it's not like there's a lot sloshing around or I need to figure out where the hose is and adjust my back to where it's going to get be able to suck up that extra material. That's working pretty well. It does have a handle in here for holding the wand when you're not using it. It's not very practical because, to be honest, I don't even know where the handle is right now. I can't reach it. It goes across here. But I can pretty easily just set it back there, and when I'm walking along, it gets it out of the way. And I'm not worried about this thing dripping, which I was with my old sprayer.
You want to turn around,
Sure. So this is the way it looks, just laying across there, pretty much. So that worked pretty well. I was disappointed with how flexible this tube is. I would like the stainless steel solid tube. That would have been better. So I wish I had upgraded for the one with the stainless steel tube, which again I think is a little bit longer. I also, the hose or the pump handle, it's fine when you're walking. When I'm refilling it and I'm setting it on the bench, it's just awkward. I've got this thing sticking out and I'm always like tripping over it, and the hose is in the way, and it would have been much easier if I could put this out of the way. So the upgraded one has that ability to put that up out of the way. I don't know how difficult that is, so if that's something you would do every time you're refilling it or not, but it's something that I noticed. Anyway, there we go. That's my thoughts on this sprayer, and hopefully that's useful to you. I think it's going to work great for me. If you have comments, if you have experience using this sprayer, or you've got other sprayers that you like to use, leave them in the comments. Other than that, thanks for coming along.